I'll eat your ass. Yeah, there it is, the gay bomb.
In this world, obsessed with kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Piss-Drunk Fraternity Guy, you got my ass full of bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to decide to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, we're so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. I just can't understand it. But could divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in a pool, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like castrated gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bo's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The fundamental put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. So let the flunkies still quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do the show every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you're checking out the podcast, do check us out live sometime. I don't know. The people in the chat are cool, and I don't know, it's fun. You get to see Red Light. Speaking of Red Light, if you'd like Red Light, you can sign up at the $5 level or higher at eplex.store or at patreon.com/Echoplex. And of course, if you sign up for any of the levels at eplex.store, you get an automatic discount on some of our lovely merch, which I'm wearing a hat of right now. So if you're watching, you know what that looks like. And if you're listening on the podcast, I don't know, you'll have to check out the merch shop. Anyway, I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky, getting blocked by a lot of people who are just mad that the war is being done incompetently. And this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. And there's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, donate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Donate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Donate the cops. Oh, donate the cops. Donate the cops. Oh, donate the cops. Thank your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Thank your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fearless judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Donate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job. Donate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Donate the cops. 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 Donate the cops.
All right, so we're going to open with one of these Lego style videos that's being done by the Iranians. They're kind of funny. We'll check this one out. This one is especially good, actually.
Yeah, you blew the bridge. Posted the video proud. Power plants next. Stone Age talk out loud. Watch this. What? War crime. War crime. War crime. War crime. Bridge down, civilians cry. Trump on truth, social flexing while they die. Power plants next, blackouts in the night. Stone Age threat. Great Persia still shines bright. You split the brick, we split the bridge in flames. Smoke filling up the sky, posted the video laughing, showing off your strike, threatening power plants, trying to turn off all the lights, dragging us to Stone Age with your illegal might. But Great Persia rises, history on our side, ancient empire strong, we never hide. True social warrior, keyboard criminal, every strike you drop, we multiply the missile. War crime, war crime, war crime, war crime. Bridge down, civilians cry. Trump on true social flexing while they die. Power plants next, blackouts in the night. Stone Age threat. Great Persia still shines bright. Sacred defense. We own the fight. War crime. Yeah.
So those are all, they're all pretty funny. I liked that one particularly, but you don't, there's, it's not like the Iranian government is some great fucking thing, but like they're doing a pretty good job over there, like dealing with this bullshit. We killed their leaders and a lot of their civilians and stuff. And, Trump, like, oh, everybody's like, oh, he memed his way to the White House. Well, he's getting like clowned all over the internet now. Like people be making fun of this guy. Man, speaking of Trump, did you know that all of the former presidents, all of them, they all wish that they would have done what Donald Trump has done here? That's at least what he says. I don't know. I get the feeling he doesn't really spend a lot of time talking to the living former presidents, but who knows?
47 years. This should have been handled by 7 presidents, a lot of presidents. And those presidents are saying now, every one of them to their friends, we should have done this a long time ago. So it's not something I like doing. It's very dangerous, and we're getting them at the height of their strength. If I didn't terminate the Barack Hussein Obama Iran nuclear deal, they would have had don't forget, that was a path to a nuclear weapon. Remember this. He chose Iran over Israel, pure and simple. How Israel can vote for a Democrat is if you're Jewish in New York City or any place else in this country, and how you can vote for a Democrat is unbelievable because
he had to stop. He was like, I don't know how Israel votes for the Democrats. Well, friend, they don't. They're in Israel. That's supposed to be like one of his big fucking like issues, right? Is that people from outside, people who weren't born here aren't supposed to fucking vote or whatever. So it's supposed to be one of his issues. And he's like, I don't know. How could Israel vote for the Democrats? This guy, he is so dumb. Did you know that South Korea, friends, South Korea did not help. South Korea did not help us blow up Iran. I don't know why we would have expected South Korea to help us blow up Iran, but I guess it's bad that they didn't.
Think of it. And it's not just NATO. You know who else didn't help us? South Korea didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Australia didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Japan.
Yeah, fucking nobody likes you, dude.
1,000 soldiers in Japan to protect them from North Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea to protect us from Kim Jong-un, who I get along with very well, as you know. Do you notice?
You know who else didn't help? North Korea.
Said very nice things about me. He used to call Joe Biden a mentally retarded person, okay? So don't tell me about your stuff. Joe Biden, he said he's a mentally retarded person. He was so nasty to Joe Biden. It was terrible. But
It was terrible.
and do you notice how nice things are with North Korea? It's very nice. But we have...
Wait a minute. Why aren't you bitching that North Korea didn't help then? If you're like, oh, like, well, that guy's my friend and he didn't like my enemy. And fucking, by the way, sorry about the R slur. I'm not the president, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's so weird. So weird. Like, why would South Korea help? Like, what the fuck? Why do they give a fuck? Anyway, here's, before all this ended up not happening, here's Ron Johnson saying that he hopes it's all bluster, because he thinks it might be bad if we, blow up a civilian population. And, yeah, I don't know. Thinks it's all bluster, but wouldn't be willing to like fucking take any action about this or anything. Don't get it twisted.
I am hoping and praying that President Trump this really is bluster. I do not want to see us start blowing up civilian infrastructure. I do not want to see that. We are not at war with the Iranian people. You know, we are trying to liberate them.
No, we're not. We're not really at war with anybody except like fucking Trump's ego is at war with somebody who didn't fucking bend the knee for him. That's like all that's happening here. And this isn't going so well. I do get mad though. I'm getting a little bit mad at the people on Blue Sky. Like I mentioned in the intro to the show, they're always like, like when we didn't like destroy every fucking bridge and power plant, everybody's like, look, Trump always chickens out. And I was like kind of fucking pissed off at some of these fucking Blue Sky shit libs. I'm like, friends, maybe we shouldn't frame not like destroying the infrastructure of a country with almost 100 million people as Trump chickening out. So I was very, very, I got blocked by a lot of fucking people this week. They were posting taco memes. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is like, I don't know if cooler heads prevailed or fucking, but whatever. Like, it's not chickening, like not blowing up all of somebody's power plants isn't chickening out. Like, you don't got to like Trump or anything because he's a piece of shit. Who knows? There's other people like, oh, the military refused to do it. I'm like, that fucking didn't happen either. And people are stupid. So if you read Donald Trump's post about obliterating Iran and taking out all of their civilian infrastructure, if you read it and read the words and understood the words, what you're doing is operating in bad faith.
You know, there was a lot of reaction to the president's early Truth Social about annihilation, the wiping out of a civilization. There was all kinds of reaction and talk about that. But that forceful positioning may have gotten us to where we are here?
Look, it may have worked. Number one, we don't know who is running Iran. We don't know what they read. We don't know what the Farsi translation is. But anyone in the United States who read the civilization to be destroyed as the whole people of Iran is acting in bad faith, because he said explicitly, we're bringing to an end the 47-year regime, that's the IRGC, and God bless the people of Iran. So people can act in bad faith. The president didn't. He was threatening the regime. They got the message. They begged for the ceasefire.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what happened. Fucking, I don't know if that's what happened, but that's Hugh Hewitt, who I think is like a dry drunk. I think he quit drinking, but I think he's still like, I think he's still a drunk. I don't know. I don't really like agree with the NAAA people on a lot of stuff, but that concept of a dry drunk is fucking real. It's fucking real. Anyway, I was talking about it being taco. I guess like these people don't like that people were saying that either, but they're going to change it to nacho.
According to Chairman Kaine, but you mentioned the 8 previous conflicts that Trump tackled. So Democrats are already saying that this is taco. Trump always chickens out. Let me give you another acronym.
Well, those people suck.
Nacho never avoids confronting hard obstacles. And that's exactly what President Trump did.
Hungry.
He went in.
I know, we were like,
I made that up on my own.
That's pretty good.
Because I was thinking about the opposite of what that would be. He didn't chicken out. He's willing to confront what previous presidents for 47 years couldn't do, to stand up to him. And look,
but like, wait, no, like Barack Obama like made a deal with them. I thought Trump was the deal maker. I don't know if there might be arguments against the deal or whatever, but it seemed to be working pretty good. And for all intents and purposes, like before all this started, as far as I could tell, Iran was kind of over there minding their own fucking business. And like, like using the most powerful military force the world has ever seen to like bomb a country that just does not have even close to the military capabilities we do. That's not like a hard obstacle or whatever. That's just being a bully. Right. That's just being like a genocidal maniac. So here, this is the most amazing fucking thing. What we wanted. This is the day that the civilization ending attack or whatever was supposed to happen. This is from CNBC. And what they want to know, if you could imagine, is, will this be good for the market if it happens?
So that it feels like there's nowhere to hide.
So, Mike, let's talk about tonight. This deadline that President Trump has set, 8 p.m., has threatened to destroy a civilization. How does an investor process that? Is it a bigger upside risk or downside risk?
I think the market is trying to stay balanced on both feet, because I think it's hard to discern that type of rhetoric as, you know, a promise of something very destructive and long-lasting happening, to distinguish it from what somebody might say if you want to sort of build up a lot of hoopla before you de-escalate. And I honestly think the market is confused about that. It's the duration of this crisis that matters, I think, a lot more than the next move. We don't even know if 8 o'clock is going to stick. We've had these deadlines pushed up. So you have to remain open to a lot of scenarios. I think what's relevant is crude keeps making new highs. Yeah. Okay, it's not calmed down. That previously has meant stocks need to go down and make new lows. We're not making new lows. We're using up this 3%, 4% cushion versus last week's lows on the S&P 500. I think because people have that sense out there that there would be a hair trigger upside move if you got some clear line of sight toward some resolution of this crisis or hostilities ceasing for a while.
Those were all words. What the fuck, man? No, like I don't really care what the fucking markets think, dude. These are fucking human beings that were going to have their lives destroyed. Even if they themselves didn't get their fucking apartment building, house or whatever obliterated. There's no bridges and no power plants and shit. They're fucking humans. The human suffering would have just been like possibly like, I mean, it would have, I don't know. I'm just not worried about what the fucking Apple stock is doing as a result. It seems like a fucking dumb thing to worry about. Up next. So this one I just grabbed because this guy that's asking the question, this homeboy, I don't even know his name. He went from like, in just the space of like a few years, he went from shouting questions at Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman at those weird press conferences, like at that brownstone, to now he's at the fucking White House asking Caroline Leavitt questions. So good for this guy.
Yesterday, the president threatened to destroy Iran's civilization, the entire civilization. Not the Iranian government, but the Iranian civilization, the Iranian people. How can the president claim that America can ever have the moral high ground if he's threatening to destroy civilizations?
Andrew, I think you should take a look at the actions of this president over the course of the past 6 weeks and the actions of our brave men and women in our United States military who have taken out essentially taken out the military of a rogue Islamic regime that has chanted death to America for 47 years. The president absolutely has the moral high ground over the Iranian terrorist regime, and for you to even suggest otherwise is frankly insulting.
All due respect, Caroline.
Go ahead.
Given the gravity of what he said yesterday, what was your understanding of what he meant when he said, this civilization is going to be eliminated?
I think it was a very, very strong threat from the President of the United States that led the Iranian regime to cave to their knees and ask for a ceasefire and agree to reopening the Strait of Hormuz. So it was a very strong threat that led to results. And as the Secretary of War stated at the Pentagon this morning, it was not an empty threat by any means. The Pentagon had a target list that they were ready to hit go on at 8 p.m. last night if the Iranian regime had not agreed to open the strait, which they did, and I think that's something we should all be grateful for. Again, the insinuation by anyone in this room that Iran somehow has the moral high ground over the United States of America is insulting, considering the atrocities that they have committed against our people and our military over the past 5 decades.
The atrocities that they've committed against our people, that would be none. Iran hasn't done anything to attack U.S. civilians, as far as I know. And the atrocity they've committed against the U.S. military have generally been in self-defense, which I know that in that region, the only country entitled to defend themselves is Israel. But, I feel like, again, I just think you don't have to think the Iranian regime was good and perfect or anything like that, but they were over there minding their own fucking business for the most part. I don't understand any of this. This is so up next we got Representative Carlos Jimenez. He actually kind of likes all this bombing and shit. He thinks it's a great idea. Thinks this is good for America, and I don't know, maybe he's doing insider trading on it or something.
I want to get your take on where we are in this war in Iran.
Look, I think that we have to finish the job. Simply, Iran has demonstrated to the world why a nuclear-armed Iran is an untenable Iran.
By doing what? By getting bombed and then retaliating in the asymmetric ways that they're capable of doing.
They're doing to the Strait of Hormuz. Look how they're threatening all their neighbors right now. Can you imagine if they had a nuclear weapon and they'd feel invulnerable? So, no, the president has to follow through with his threats, and also we need to finish it off, and this regime has to go. And so, I support what the president is doing. We just need to press forward because, look, Iran's like a cancer, and sometimes the cure to cancer hurts, but the cancer has to be eliminated, and that cancer is Iran.
Yeah.
No. My fucking God, dude. They're just like a country over there, and before all this happened, it's like Tehran was like Baghdad, sort of. It was like this big international city. People a lot of times be getting Iran confused with Saudi Arabia, who happens to be a U.S. ally. Women don't have the same kind of rights they have here in the United States, but it ain't no Saudi Arabia, dude. There's right before all this happened, there was videos coming out over and over again of Tehran, trying to explain to people that no, look at all these women. They're not wearing any fucking headdress. This is just a fucking city. It's a city in a place that you don't understand. These people, this is so crazy. And it's also insane that the U.S. is they're this military, they're this, rogue religious power. All the while they're it's God's will that we destroy Iran. And it's well, I don't know. Who's the one talking like a religious fundamentalist crazy person right now? Doesn't seem to be Iran. They're just making Lego videos, making fun of Donald Trump and getting their country bombed. Anyway, of all people, Megyn Kelly, just fucking not into this shit anymore. And I don't think it's that she gives a fuck about the people in Iran or anything like that. I think it's that she thinks that this makes her look bad because she supported Donald Trump in such a very strong and stupid way for such a very long time.
Now, as you can imagine, that post did not go over well with the Iranians or with many Americans. I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the
fuck is that? What was this? You bitch, you voted for him 3 times. The fuck did you think? What the like? It's not like all of a sudden motherfuckers wilding out and acting crazy.
President, 3D chess. Shut up. Fuck it.
So it would be 4D chess. Chess is a thing that exists in a 3-dimensional world. Although it is a 2-dimensional game, it's 4-dimensional or 5-dimensional chess. Lady, chess happens in our 3-dimensional world.
Shut up about that shit. You don't threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. We're talking about civilians. Just casually.
Yeah, but she's fucking you. Okay, great. Now do Gaza. Homegirl, do Gaza now.
In a social media post. You know, like I am the first to try to understand Trump and his strategy.
Why?
And to not freak out over his weird social media posts and language that is loose and incendiary. Truly, I've lived with it for 10 plus years. I learned it the hard way when I was on the receiving end of it for 9 months. And truly, I think that was a gift to me in many ways because it helped me.
It helped me vote for the guy anyway. Remember when he said that she was like bleeding out of her wherever and shit? That she was like on her period or some shit, like because she was saying things he didn't like. And then she fucking bent the fucking knee anyway. Fuck you, lady. You fucking, you have no nuh-uh. You've been the biggest fucking sycophant.
Really come to understand what he does with his social media. But this is completely irresponsible and disgusting. This is wrong. It's wrong. He should not be doing it. I don't care that it's his negotiation tactic is to kill an entire country full of civilians, men, women, and children. An American president so that the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. It's just wrong. It's not hard to say it. It's not hard to recognize it. I wish he would stop doing this. Like, he can't negotiate without doing this. What does that say about him? What does that say about the position that our country is in right now in these negotiations? He's got to say this?
Yes.
He can't be a dignified
homegirl, it's how he do.
Strong leader without threatening a bunch of war crimes. Like what is he, Genghis Khan? Like what is he trying to do? And why can't he do it with strength, threats? Sure, go for it. That don't diminish and demean the United States of America in this way. All right. The Wall Street Journal.
Oh man, these people, like watching all these people, they're like, well, how did this happen? I didn't know anything about. What the fuck, you didn't? You voted for this motherfucker. Come on. Like, what did you think? He was just gonna fuck with immigrants and fucking support the genocide in Gaza and not do other crazy shit? Like, what the fuck? You're just gonna do the crazy shit you want him to do? I would suggest to you that like voting for and supporting somebody who does crazy shit, even if it's crazy shit that you like, maybe you should think a little bit about that. You know, like you should just think a little bit about that. You know, like over here on the left, we like Gritty. I forget what team he's a mascot for, but I wouldn't vote for Gritty for president. I don't think, because Gritty be doing crazy shit. Oh man. All right. Another person who was like, I can't believe that this person is a con artist. Here's Marjorie the Gathering. All of a sudden now she's like going on CNN and shit. I mean, good for her. Like, you know, I believe in off ramps and stuff, but let's not like uncrazy make this person so quickly. But here she is. She's not into this stuff.
I just want to follow up with that. I mean, the White House has denied they were going to use a nuclear bomb, but for critics of Trump, they're like, you know, look, how can you say no one saw this coming? Obviously, calling the death of a whole civilization.
How could you? Yeah, there's a good fucking question. How could you say? What do you mean you didn't see this coming?
A different level, but as Wolf mentioned earlier, Trump has been known for his bombastic rhetoric, right? He's been doing that for years, and you used to be a supporter. Now you're speaking out against him, but people might be asking, well, I mean, didn't you see this coming?
Well, you know, I've always been a supporter of President Trump for the policies. That's what I cared about. But
well, see, that's the problem. That's the problem we have. Is that shit's the crazy part.
once he became president, he changed his policies. What we campaigned on was no more foreign wars.
No. That's what you said he was campaigning on. That's what all the podcast bros, I think you probably can't find a lot of fucking Trump all talking out there like he's some kind of fucking peacenik. I don't think that you can find that. I think he because it was useful, he had said that Kamala Harris was going to start a war with Iran, but it's just because someone told him it would be useful to say it.
And President Trump said he was going to be the peace president. Well, he's gone from being the peace president to the war president. And I don't support that at all. I'm not offended oftentimes by people's words. I mean, people on the right and the left have lots of different types of language and statements. However, it's their actions that is what I pay attention to. And the president lost my support when...
Look at the homegirl, the host. She looks confused. We are all the female host, the woman host on this show, because she look a little confused here. I am too.
The Epstein files and called me a traitor and wanted to primary me because I supported women that were raped at 16 and 18 years old, or 14 years old even.
So the 18-year-olds were technically women, the others were girls.
Mm-hmm. And I don't support the president in going to war in Iran. And what we campaigned on and what President Trump promised America was to put America first. And now we've got rising inflation, gas prices are going out of control.
These people, I just want her to say the liberals were right. She doesn't even need to say the left was right, because I know she hates the left, but these people, they just need to say, hey, I'm not a liberal, but the liberals were right. She would explode. I want her to say that Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton were right. It would destroy her to say it, but she needs to say it. I'm not a big fan of Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton, but both of them, their predictions for Trump were pretty spot the fuck on. So I need her to say that. Not because I'm some stand for either of those people, just because it's like that's like bending the knee, right? Well, Hillary Clinton was right about most of this stuff.
And administration officials, as we've heard, have said that he was ready to follow through with this threat. Just hours after he made it, he announced this 2-week ceasefire that's still very tenuous at the moment. The White House is claiming it was the president's tough rhetoric that brought Iran to its knees. What do you say to that?
I'm sorry, that's not tough rhetoric. It's insanity. It's calling for the murder of an entire civilization of men, women, children, of innocent civilians. That is not what I would call proper or even decent negotiations. There should be negotiations happening, and they did happen. And J.D. Vance, the vice president, was the one that helped bring that ceasefire. It doesn't seem to be much of a ceasefire, but it is supposedly a ceasefire, and
it's the ceasefire where it's like you cease and we fire.
Negotiations through J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance did not go to his social media and threaten to murder every single man, woman, and child in Iran. Presumably, we can only presume that would happen through nuclear bombs, because that's the type of horrific weaponry that would be used to wipe out an entire civilization. So no, I push back on that, and I think the American people fully agree. Everyone was outraged.
That's the thing, is not everybody was, dude. There were shit libs on Blue Sky being like, well, I don't know. I don't like Donald Trump's rhetoric here, but we do have to do something about Iran. It's like, oh, fuck. So, here's I don't even know how to describe this. I guess it's we'll call this a commercial for the ceasefire. I don't even know what to call this. I will go with a commercial for the ceasefire. I don't know why you would need a commercial for the ceasefire, but it's a commercial for a ceasefire. I don't know who she is, but I know why she got hired. It's because she looks like Ivanka.
Hello, everyone. I'm Assistant Press Secretary Riley Podleski, and welcome to this week's DOW Situation Report. Thanks to the strength of our Commander-in-Chief, the United States announced a 2-week ceasefire with Iran. In other words, the new Iranian regime understood that a deal was far better than the fate that awaited them. Our warfighters made history with their overwhelming victory on the battlefield. As Secretary Hegseth and Chairman Kaine reiterated at a press briefing on Wednesday, the United States Armed Forces dismantled one of the world's largest militaries, using less than 10% of America's total combat power. We owned their skies, wiped out their navy, destroyed their missile program, and rendered their defense industrial base useless. President Trump has made history and has done what no other president had the courage to do before. Over Easter weekend, the United States military proved, once again, why we possess the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. On April 3rd, and
I don't know why there's also fucking like closed captions on this. I don't think the people that are like interested in this war and like this war know how to read.
Eagle fighter jet was downed by enemy forces in Iran. Within 48 hours, our armed forces executed 2 incredible rescue missions that involved more than 170 military aircraft deployed into hostile airspace, facing gunfire at close range, taking extraordinary risk to rescue their fellow service members. When the second crew member activated his emergency transponder, his first message was simple but powerful. God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger,
I'm not buying this story about the fucking rescue, but I don't want to get into it right now.
Shot down on Good Friday, hidden in a cave all Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. As President Trump said, we will never leave an American warfighter behind. We will move heaven and earth to bring them home. For these 2 warriors and their rescuers, we thank God for allowing their safe return. This past Sunday, we observed Gold Star Spouses Day. We recognize the profound sacrifices made by the surviving spouses of our fallen heroes. Your unwavering strength and remarkable resilience continue to inspire us all. Today and always, we stand with you in solemn remembrance and deep gratitude. That's all we have for you this week. Thanks for watching. God bless you all, and God bless this great country we call home.
That's indistinguishable from fucking satire. So much as this stuff could be satire if it was just a little funnier. Like that. Like I don't know. I don't think I know what happened, but I'm not buying the company line on the downed fighter jet and whatnot. I mean, whoever those people are, like, whatever. I'm glad that they didn't die or whatever. But also, I don't know. They bought the fucking ticket. I don't know. You join the military. It's like being a cop. Like you take those jobs knowing that there is some risk. I'm not saying that like, oh, they deserve to be hurt or anything. This isn't. That's But I just, I don't know. That story just sounds too much like a fucking movie, man. It sounds too much like one of them fucking movies where whoever made the movie would have wanted Harrison Ford to do the movie, and Harrison Ford would have been like, I ain't doing this fucking war propaganda. Hell no. It's more like a Steven Seagal fucking vehicle or something. Anyway, this is becoming like a weekly thing here. This is Jessica Tarlov on the 5. Like, just trying to talk some sense to these insane people on the Fox's The 5.
And I think in reality that there is no ceasefire. I was watching coverage of this last night, flipping around, obviously watching your show, Jesse, and then perusing some other channels. And there were split screens between, White House announces ceasefire and missiles raining down on the Israelis. We knew that Israel was sending rockets back to Iran. We know what today has looked like in Lebanon with what the Israelis are doing there. It's one of the highest death toll days. So the ceasefire was a complete fiction.
No, it's the same as the ceasefire always is in the Middle East. It's you cease, we fire.
And what J.D. Vance is saying, and the White House now, Caroline Leavitt, that those 10 points were completely unacceptable. That's only because some of the biggest boosters of the administration came out and said, are you kidding me? Look at what you're agreeing to. Like Mark Levin, who has obviously been very close to this process. He took, what Fox and Friends.
Why has Mark Levin been close to this process? Mark Levin is a talk show host. Not even a very popular one. I mean, I have no room to talk about not being a popular talk show host, mind you, but come on.
10 points are a disaster. Last night, Larry Kudlow asked on social media, is this what we want? I mean, the deal, the 10 points.
At night, Larry Kudlow wasn't fucking blotto and was able to fucking post on social media. That's impressive.
They sent in response to our 15 points, allow them, as Dana said, to control the Strait of Hormuz and to decide what they charge. So that could be $2 million per tanker, and they split that with the Omanis. Or then the FT reported this morning a proposal to do $1 for every barrel, and they want it to be paid in crypto, which would be untraceable. And we know that because Donald Trump loves to be paid in crypto. No shutting down of the nuclear program. You can continue to enrich uranium. The leadership, not a problem. Can keep supporting those proxy forces. That's the Hezbollah problem. And then that sanctions would be lifted. We already took off $14 billion in sanctions. This would go even further. And Donald Trump would be the first president, certainly in recent memory, that didn't have economic sanctions on Iran. The linchpin story on this, and we have been tracing this particular plot line since the beginning, is what Jonathan Swan and Maggie Haberman reported yesterday in the excerpt of their book that comes out in a couple of months. And it's about a meeting on February 11th in the Situation Room, and Bibi Netanyahu was there. He was sitting at the table with our leadership. And
so I need these people to stop calling this guy Bibi. It's a term of endearment. Use his name. Be Prime Minister Netanyahu or Benjamin Netanyahu. Do not use that term of endearment for this person. It's unprofessional, bad journalism.
This war. Donald Trump was interested. Pete Hegseth was interested. Everybody else, Ratcliffe, farcical. Rubio, it's BS. General Kane, standard operating procedure for Israelis. They oversell. Susie Wiles, we can't be dragged into another Middle Eastern war. Israel pushed us to do this. It doesn't mean that there weren't some good things that came out of it.
Like what this is like, she's living out now. What good came out of it?
First day, remember, and you guys said, I can't believe you're saying this, when Rubio came out and he said the truth to the gaggle of reporters that the imminent threat was not against us. It was something that was happening for Israel, is the core piece of this. And now we're stuck in it. And Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are seen as being very pro-Israel. And that's why people want to negotiate with J.D. Vance instead of with them, because they think that they may possibly be talking to someone who isn't just representing Israeli interests.
Yeah, I think if you continued to read the...
Imagine being like, okay, listen, if you're going to send any of these freaks, you got to send the guy that fucks the couches, all right? I just can't deal with any of these other people. Listen, I don't like my choices, but if I got to talk to one of these people, I mean, like, at least the fucking guy, the wholly owned subsidiary of Peter Thiel, we might be able to bribe him. I don't know. Just imagine like the fucking world we live in right now. Oh, you know who she just mentioned? Guess who isn't interested in a ceasefire? She just mentioned that would be Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't know if you're surprised by this. He didn't like the idea of a ceasefire at all.
And Israel is stronger than ever. This is the bottom line of this campaign up until now. Let me say, there are still additional objectives for us to achieve, and we will achieve them, either by agreement or by resumption of the fighting. We are ready to resume the fighting at any moment. Our finger is on the trigger. As you know, 2-week ceasefire has been announced between the U.S. and Iran. No, we were not surprised in the last moment, and I want to emphasize, this is not the end of the war. This is a step in order to achieve all the objectives.
This is fucked up too, because like all this started happening, and then fucking Israel was like, "Fuck yeah, let's attack Lebanon," and it's like, oh man. Like, yo, I know y'all don't get along, right? I know y'all ain't homies, but like, what the fuck? What the fuck? This is all really bad. This is all really bad. I don't like any of this. I don't like any of this. I like, I really wish that there was like something like in Israel and Gaza and the West Bank. I really wish there was like some different kind of movement going on. Some sort of like, okay, well, we all got to live together. I guess we should stop doing the apartheid state and everybody should vote. And then fucking maybe 10 years from now, they'd find a whole other group of reasons to hate each other, right? They could go liberal versus conservative, rural versus urban. They could do the whole America thing eventually. I'm not holding my breath for this to happen because like, fuck that. Like that ain't never going to happen, but that's the only way this really comes to a fucking end, I'm afraid. But that would be ugly and people would lose their fucking minds. So they mentioned JD Vance, and I just, before we get started here, that the news came out today, and we don't cover Sunday's news on this Sunday show, which is stupid. I guess we'll cover it next Sunday. Justin brought that up this week, and I'm like, hey man, I like run errands or fucking sleep in or something on Sundays. But shout out, Hungary got rid of Viktor Orban, and it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. And those people are gonna party till the fucking sun comes up, especially in the cities where basically like gay people have been oppressed for fucking 16 years for no good reason, because there's actually no good reason to oppress gay people. So fucking, I'm so glad they got rid of that guy. It sucks that he was there for so long doing so much, but it also shows that like Putin and Trump having their thumb on the scale, it didn't matter. It didn't even close to matter. I think the fact that fucking Putin and Trump had their thumb on the scale might have driven turnout the other direction, because people all over the world hate Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. So here's JD Vance this week in Hungary, trying to see to it that what did happen didn't happen, and he didn't do a very good job. I think maybe JD Vance might have contributed to the election loss for Viktor Orban.
And maybe the most important thing about eliminating racial discrimination, particularly against middle-class white kids in the American education context, is not just the moral part of it, okay? The moral part of it I care a lot about. I don't want to discriminate against black kids, white kids, Latino kids. I don't want to discriminate against anybody based on your skin color. I think it's gross and immoral. But a very, very important part of it is that you're going to have actually greater geographic diversity in our universities, because you're going to have people coming from all over the country to study. I think that will make those social networks less insular and less self-destructive.
What would be your
Universities famously not diverse. No rural kids are ever at a university. Dude, yo, that's so stupid. And these people, they love discrimination. They like it when ICE engages in discrimination. And it's just like, oh, you're an American citizen? Well, come with us anyway. You look Mexican-y to me. And they're like, I'm from Honduras. And they're like, that's just a different kind of Mexico. So here's him giving a speech. He's asking, are you going to stand with the bureaucrats in Brussels? Well, the answer to this is yes, they are. That's what that's what the voters overwhelmingly wanted.
Will you stand against the bureaucrats in Brussels? Will you stand for sovereignty and democracy? Will you stand for Western civilization?
So for a very long time, we didn't actually consider Eastern Europe to be the West, but this is just giving away the game, right? The West usually didn't include Eastern Europe. So what do you mean? This is just giving away the game. He means white people.
Will you stand for freedom, for truth, and for the God of our fathers? Then, my friends, go to the polls in the weekend, stand with Viktor Orban, because he stands for you and he stands for all these things. God bless Hungary and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
It's so weird to go to another country and end your fucking speech with God bless the United States of America. It's like, dude, hold on, man. Come on. The opposite of Ich bin ein Berliner, right? Man, they've turned the whole world into a fucking. This is just like a fucking. It's like CPAC. That's all that. That shit's just. It's like It's like they're doing CPAC. Oh, they do CPAC in Hungary. I wonder if they're still going to be doing that now that they have a new leader. I don't know. Here's more of JD. This is at a different event. He's accusing Ukrainian intelligence of rigging the U.S. and the Hungarian election, which is really weird because if the Ukrainians rigged the Hungarian election, then up until now, how the fuck did Viktor Orban keep winning if the Ukrainians were rigging the election?
So to answer your question, yes, we're certainly aware that there are elements within the Ukrainian intelligence services that tried to put their thumb on the scale of American elections, on Hungarian elections. This is just what they do. This is part of the cost of doing business within some elements of their system.
They're just trying to rig elect. Everybody's trying to interfere in everybody's elections, at least with propaganda. Like, what do you like? You know, it's like, motherfucker, what are you doing now? Right? He's going over. I mean, technically, I mean, I don't know. It's his right. Like, I don't have a problem with foreign leaders going somewhere to like speak on behalf of somebody running for president or prime minister or whatever the fuck. Like, no problem there. But it's like, you know, again, what are you doing now? Here's JD Vance on the tarmac talking about the ceasefire, and he has no idea what's going on with the fucking ceasefire at this point, right? It just got announced by President Trump. He was over in another country campaigning for a different fascist, so he has no fucking clue what's going on.
Things. First of all, I actually think, and there's a lot of bad faith negotiation and a lot of bad faith, you know, propaganda going on. I think this
propaganda generally is assumed to be in bad faith.
Comes from a legitimate misunderstanding. I think the Iranians thought that the ceasefire included Lebanon, and it just didn't. We never made that promise. We never indicated that was going to be the case. What we said is that the ceasefire would be focused on Iran, and the ceasefire would be focused on America's allies, both Israel and the Gulf Arab states.
Well, Israel's the one fucking blowing the fuck up. Israel's the one blowing up Lebanon. What do you mean? The ceasefire includes... Oh, that's right. Any ceasefire involving Israel means you cease and Israel fires. Like, holy shit, man. Oh, this was embarrassing. This is at a rally, and JD Vance tried to call Donald Trump and it got sent to voicemail twice. I mean, maybe he doesn't understand time zones. I don't know what time it was here, what time it was in the US, but you know, maybe they would have coordinated that. I don't know, but this is great. This is great.
I actually had a special guest that asked that I give him a phone call, and we'll see.
You fucking loser.
Actually answers. So this is going to be very embarrassing. All right.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
Try one more time.
Hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. Fuck that. I should fucking go find out how to make that happen when I don't pick up my phone.
I get a good signal here. It's ringing. It's progress.
Yo, he didn't know, dude. So embarrassing. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I'm not even embarrassed for him. I don't feel bad for this guy. This is what you signed up for. Here's more of him from the tarmac, and then we're gonna move on. I could have done a whole show tonight about JD Vance and fucking Hungary because it was real embarrassing. Probably not as embarrassing as Dave Rubin and Rob Schneider doing like a comedy tour for Viktor Orban over there, but I mean, we can only go so far down the stupid rabbit hole. Here's here he is talking about, I don't know, what his wife has a right to do or whatever.
The second thing Golliboff said, which again I found fascinating, is he said, "We refuse to give up the right to enrichment." And I thought to myself, you know what? My wife has the right to skydive. But she doesn't jump out of an airplane because she and I have an agreement that she's not going to do that because I don't want my wife jumping out of an airplane. We don't concern ourselves with what they claim they have the right to do. We concern ourselves with what they actually do. And I think the president's been very clear on the enrichment question. Our position on that has not changed. And I think the
Wait, why would, if your wife wanted to go why wouldn't, well, first of all, why would you have an agreement that she's not going to go skydiving? Is that in like the prenup or like what the, I don't I don't know if I had a partner, imagine that. If I had a partner and they wanted to go skydiving, I'd be like, that's really cool. You have fun. And they'd be like, you want to go skydiving? I'd be like, fuck no. I went bungee jumping once, and I was like, I ain't doing that shit ever again either. People are like, it's exhilarating. I'm like, fuck that. Like, I'm not worried about dying. I'm worried about like when the fucking parachute opens and all of a sudden you're going from like free fall or whatever to like the parachute opens. I'm just like worried that it's it's gonna hurt. Right? Sounds uncomfortable. But if somebody else wants to do it, I don't feel like we should have to have some kind of agreement about fucking skydiving, whether or not I'm the vice president. But he's also one of these guys that would think that his wife would need explicit permission from him to go skydiving, or possibly to the store. So I don't know if you know this. The President Donald Trump, might want to leave NATO again, because he keeps saying that.
Thank you, but on NATO, I'll take your question. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, Caroline. On NATO, can you tell me, is the United States still considering withdrawing from NATO? Is that still a possibility?
It's something the president has discussed, and I think it's something the president will be discussing in a couple of hours with Secretary General Rutte, and perhaps you'll hear directly from the president following that meeting later this afternoon. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. We didn't put this on the docket, but the president met with the leader of NATO, and the leader of NATO bent the fucking knee. I don't know why the leader of NATO bent the knee. The leader of NATO should have been like, I just came here to tell you to fuck yourself. So, one of the reasons I guess Trump is considering leaving NATO is because NATO won't give them Greenland, but NATO can't give a country away. NATO is an alliance. It's not like a property management company.
He's a great person, but he's got, and it all began with, if you want to know the truth, Greenland. We want Greenland. They don't want to give it to us, and I said, bye-bye. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
NATO can't give us Greenland. Does he think NATO owns Greenland? NATO doesn't own anything. It's an alliance. It's like, I don't like the HOA because they won't let me annex my neighbor's pool. Like, you fucking idiot. Here we go. Here's Jesse Waters, because you can't do a show without Jesse Waters, or we can't do this show without Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters thinks that we should take Cuba, Greenland, and Canada, but he's just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. See, he's funny. He's funny like his co-host Gutfeld. To be fair, Jesse Waters didn't steal the Garfield logo for his show, so there's that.
Back, the world just witnessed an overwhelming display of military and technological superiority. But this isn't over. We still have Cuba, Greenland, and Canada. Just kidding. General Jack Haynes, our senior strategic analyst and...
It's a joke, see? And it doesn't matter what Donald Trump does. Jesse Waters will just be like, that seems like a great idea. So I don't know. Did you know that, I don't know if you know this, Trump is very popular in Venezuela now, which obviously isn't true. But I mean, after he's done being president, he might move there.
And we, just so you understand, the people of Venezuela, they say if I ran for president of Venezuela, I'm polling higher than anybody has ever polled in Venezuela. So after I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm good at language. And I will go to Venezuela. I'm going to run for president. But we're very happy with the president-elect that we have right now, the people that are running it. If you remember Bush.
Okay, so that's not a president-elect, because the president-elect would be somebody who was elected and not acting as president yet, right? Like, unfortunately, we may be looking at president-elect Gavin Newsom in a couple of years. When he says he means like interim or acting president, or president that we approved of and didn't kidnap. That's not being elected, right? Like Donald Trump not kidnapping you is not the same as being elected. So... Something's going on. We know what's going on, actually. A longtime friend of Melania Trump got mad and is about to spill the beans. I think we found that out today. But here's Melania Trump having a press conference to lie to you, just like straight up lie to you about her associations with Jeff Epstein. I mean, this is Just photographic evidence will demonstrate to you that this is a lie. All of this.
I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence.
But I don't casually correspond with anybody, like via email. What do you mean? If you're casually corresponding with someone via email, you're probably friendly with them.
Reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998.
Just happened to be at Jeff's house. I don't know if it happened to be at Jeff's house, but...
This initial encounter with...
And to be fair, when you met him in 1998, he was someone else's husband, Marla Maples or whatever. So you met Marla's husband at that party.
Husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings. Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and...
No, I mean, there are faked images of her for sure, like all over the place, but there's some, there's images of them together. No, they're like contemporaneous from like the late 90s and early 2000s. These aren't fake.
Me have been calculating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe.
Listen to her. Listen to you. Listen to you.
And stories are completely false.
Oh, I wonder what her ex-homegirl is gonna fucking tell everybody, dude. I bet her ex-homegirl knows some shit. They're just gonna slut shame her though. That's how they always do. So not bad. We're about an hour in, and here is our palate cleanser. I have never actually seen a cat that sees a duck for the first time. Thankfully, the cat didn't like attack the duck or anything. Here's, I guess, what this cat thought or did. First time he saw a duck in a bathtub. Wave hello? What a nice kitty. Waved hello at the duck. Oh, what a nice kitty. Didn't try to eat the duck. I don't know. Maybe the cat ended up trying to eat the duck. The video did cut out there for a reason, but what a nice kitty. I like cats when they stand on their hind legs too. The cat's like, what the duck is that? So, oh no. This is the opposite of a palate cleanser. This is a candidate for fucking Father of the Year here. This is one of those judge shows. I don't know what the name of this judge show is, but this is the one with that sassy judge. I like her. So this is, again, Father of the Year award.
In court today, sir.
My son, Michael, broke a promise, and I'm trying to recover the funds that it cost me by his doing so. I have been living in Memphis for about the last 25 years. I That's where I met my wife. That's where I started a small business with her brother. We're part of a tight community, a small, tightly knit community. We go to church. Our families entertain each other together.
Right.
Shortly after I got married to Michael's mother, my wife, Jennifer. And
Are you still married to your wife, Jennifer? Okay.
Yes, we're still married. And we found out we were going to have a child. We were overjoyed. And when I had a son, it was doubly joyful because then I knew that the family name would carry on. And he's a boy.
Uh-oh. What do you think's going to happen here?
He's made me proud. He's always been smart and well behaved and a great boy.
So all this sounds really.
Also, he's like a good decorator, a snappy dresser, and he can dance like a motherfucker.
Really lovely, Mr. Talbot. So why are you suing your lovely, well-behaved, high-achieving son for $6,000?
It all started last May. Michael one day asked if he could have his friend Kevin stay over. It was a Saturday night.
How old is Michael? Michael, how old are you?
I'm 18 now. I was 17 at the time.
Okay, so were you a senior in high school at the time?
Yes, I was a senior in high school.
Okay, thank you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
His friend Kevin, who was a couple of years older, but I'd met Kevin, certainly seemed like a nice kid, a nice boy. I thought, Michael had some trouble over the years in school, especially when he was younger. He would occasionally get in trouble or get into fights, and I thought maybe this Kevin could be a good influence.
So maybe like a big brother type of mentor could be a positive thing.
It's just like he's just like a couple of years older. It's just his friend. Like 17-year-olds and 19-year-olds, they're part of same social groups generally.
That was the thinking.
I was certainly hoping that. Yes,
okay.
Exactly. So,
what'd you walk in on, and how? And did you cry-masturbate about thinking about it afterward, or what?
Put out the air mattress in Michael's room so that Kevin could stay on the floor. I heard noises, late into the night, figuring, they're boys, they're roughhousing or they're reading comics or whatever they're doing. And I knew they stayed up late, but it was a Saturday night, so what difference does it make? I went in there Sunday morning to tell them that breakfast was ready and, Michael had to start getting ready for church, and I found them kissing. They were not kissing, fooling around, roughhousing. They were kissing the way a man and a woman kiss.
Wait, they were not kissing and fooling around, roughhousing? Just kissing and roughhousing with the boys?
Let's rephrase that in this courtroom. They were kissing romantically.
Yes, they were definitely kissing romantically. I was shocked. I didn't know what to say or how to respond. So I just pulled it together enough to ask Kevin to leave and to tell Michael that we had to get ready for church, and that's what we did.
Did you address the situation at all?
I did not. I did not know what to say. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I didn't want to blow up. I didn't want to say something I was going to regret. So
there's so if you're like, hey, you can't it's like I know whatever, you can't bring people over here to hook up. You need to get your own place before you do that. I don't know if that's a good thing to do or whatever. That would be a fairly appropriate, if kind of stupid and overbearing response. But I don't think that his problem wasn't so much that, hey, you can't use my house as a place to hook up with people.
Anything.
Did you tell your wife?
No. So it was very uncomfortable at church because I couldn't really look at Michael and I couldn't speak to him and I didn't want to say anything to Jennifer, so I just sat there, and I'm afraid I kind of sat there all day. But by the next morning, I figured out what I wanted to say, and I texted him. I have copies of...
Proffer that evidence to my bailiff here, sir, so I can take a look and see exactly what you said to young Michael at that time.
This text is going to be fucking awful. Oh, no.
Michael, I am so disappointed in your behavior. You cannot kiss another man, especially in my house. If you want to live a homosexual lifestyle, you'll need to move out. This behavior is unacceptable within our family and friend circle in Memphis. I see Michael responds. He says, Dad, I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I don't want to move out. I want to be with you, and Mom, I'll do whatever you need me to do. You respond to your only child, your son, and you say, okay, son, let's fix it so it doesn't happen again.
Yes, and I do want to be clear about something. I love Michael, and when I threatened him with expulsion from the house, it was just that. It was a threat.
It was a bluff.
It was. I was trying to shock him. I did want to get a strong reaction because I wanted him to know.
So what was his reaction?
He really took the initiative. He spent the next few days looking into what he could do, and he found a conversion therapy program I was not all that familiar with this, but he found it, and he asked if he could go. That is the next.
Well, since you chased his other boyfriend away and he was in a fucking place in Memphis where people don't really accept each other, he was like, well, I don't know, I could meet some other fucking closeted gay guys or whatever at this conversion therapy thing.
Dad, I found a conversion therapy program online. It's for 3 months, and I'll need to go every weekday from 8 to 5 p.m. for June, July, and August. So this is 3 months. If I go, can I continue living here?
So the upshot here or whatever is that he's suing his son for the $6,000 he spent on the fucking emotional torture program that he sent his son to that didn't work because fucking conversion therapy doesn't work because homeboy, your kid's gay. Your kid's gay. Like the appropriate thing to do would have been like, hey, I haven't really gotten to know, Kevin very well. Can we all go out to dinner or something? Because is that your boyfriend or like what's like? There could be like it would still be a little uncomfortable, but for fuck's sake, man. Instead, you like fucking blow a bunch of money on some fucking scam conversion therapy, and then get mad that it didn't work because conversion therapy doesn't work because your kid's just gay. And now you're on TV embarrassing yourself and unfortunately your son, but mostly yourself, trying to recover that $6,000. What a giant piece of shit. What a giant piece of shit the dad is. What a horrible man. Anyway, we're going to move on. Did you know that the people at Newsmax, they still hate Zoran Mamdani?
This week, he cried about structural white racism in a city made up of 70% minorities, sir. He also made it a priority to reward criminals by completely shutting down Rikers Island. However, I don't know, maybe his most absurd comment came when he said Iranian New Yorkers are being negatively affected by the, quote, illegal war in Iran. He's, I think, worse than people even expected him to be.
No, he's great. He's great. He's had a few problems, a couple reality checks with the fucking as far as like what it means to run a big city like New York. He seems to be doing a really good job. I don't know. He seems fine.
Do you still believe that he should be deported? Because I know you've mentioned that before.
Absolutely. And what I would say to New Yorkers and Americans as a whole.
God, look at this guy doing his best to do like a really bad Ted Cruz impression.
When they tell you what they believe them. Mm-hmm. We're in this situation in New York because people said, oh, he really won't be that bad. Well,
No, that's not why people voted for him, actually. The people were pretty enthusiastic about the stuff he wanted to do. He's like, we got to do something about the potholes. And then he was like, hey, wait a minute. I'm the mayor. We can hire people and they can fill the potholes. And then he did that.
Exactly what he told people that he would do. Mm-hmm. I believe Zoran Mamdani lied when he applied for citizenship. I think he was affiliated and supported groups you're not allowed to if you want to be a citizen of the United States. And I think he should be denaturalized and deported as a result. And by the way, I think he's one of many who should do that.
You want to see people burn down New York City? It doesn't matter who their mayor is. Deport their mayor. Because there's one thing about New York is that those people are fucking New Yorkers first. If you've ever met anybody from New York City that's been there for a very long time, they are a New Yorker. And you deport their mayor. They'll be like, this is my city and I'm burning it down.
Forms you have to fill out and commitments that you have to make in order to become an American citizen. If you
look at this horrible guy, he's like getting food with people. Fucking little bit of a thirst trap with the apron here, like hanging out at the fucking, is it the kebab food truck? Like, dude, this is the most New York thing I've ever seen in my life.
Supposed to be.
Every time they're like, look at what this guy's doing, I'm like, that's great, actually. Like, I live in Oakland. Why the fuck isn't Barbara Lee hanging out in a food truck and fucking making videos?
The problem is we haven't enforced that in years, and hopefully President Trump is starting to do that. We've seen that with the revocation of visas for people affiliated with the Iranian terror regime who are now being kicked out of the United States. So
that's crazy because he has nothing to do with Iran, but I know to you that it doesn't really matter.
Now beginning that process of mass deportations, not only of illegals, but people who are here supposedly legally, but under false pretenses.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, That's bad. What do you mean no, dude. Once you fill out the fucking paperwork and you come here and you're here legally, there's no backsies on that. There can't be. If those people break the law once they're a U.S. citizen, they're subject to the fucking same legal repercussions that people who were born here are. Which, by the way, were fucking. I don't think that we're gonna get rid of that birthright citizenship. I think that might go down 8-0, but it's more likely 6-2. But they're what do you mean that they've been naturalized? They're U.S. citizens. I don't think there's any take backsies on that shit. Now a U.S. citizen did a bad thing, right? Now they're fucking subject to the same legal fucking apparatus that you and I are. I don't see the problem. We're good as fuck at putting people in jail, so I don't see the problem. So I just want to remind everybody, I don't think this clip is contemporaneous, but I do want to remind people as we move forward into what I'll call like the second trimester of the Trump administration. We're about a third of the way through. I want to remind everybody that RFK Jr. is an HIV/AIDS denier.
Tony Fauci won a power struggle with Broder. And he said, this is an infectious disease. We've proven it. With Bob Gallo proved this is being caused by a virus. There's a lot of people that said it's not a virus. The virus is a passenger virus. And these people are dying mainly because of poppers. 100% of the people who died in the first 1,000 who had AIDS were people who were addicted to poppers.
Popper? You like Rush? Does he mean poppers? Like, so you don't really get addicted to poppers? They're not. Gay people, they've been doing the anal and having the poppers.
Which are known to cause Kaposi sarcoma in rats. And they were people who were part of a gay lifestyle where they were burning the candle at both ends, and they were taking a lot of...
Burning the candle at both ends? Nope, not going to say anything. I had a funny joke, but I'm not going to say it.
Drugs and methadone, and there were poppers on sale everywhere at the gay bars on the day. I remember...
No, there's no way they were selling fucking Rush at the bar. Absolutely not. The alcohol with the ABC, the alcohol bureau, whatever, they absolutely not. You would lose your liquor license in fucking 2 seconds flat if it was found that you were selling amyl nitrates at your bar. Absolutely not.
That era in the gay bars, they would be last call for poppers and last call for alcohol at 2 a.m. And all the gay bath houses sold poppers, and it became a ubiquitous. And there were a number of people in the agency who said, this is not a viral disease, but it's a disease that is environmental, and it's being caused to people.
Oh, this is fucking terrain theory of disease, right? Where it's the supposed alternative theory to like germ theory of disease.
People who are, who are getting autoimmunity from doing these, from toxics. But for Tony Fauci, it was really important to call it a virus because that made it an infectious disease. And it allowed him to take control of it.
So everybody just remember that, because there's going to be some weird shit coming down the pike. I'm getting the feeling there's going to be some weird shit coming down the pike about HIV and AIDS from the Trump administration and from RFK Jr. And just a funny story about poppers. When I lived in Fremont, I was dating this guy. And anyway, like the second or third time we met, he was like, "Oh, I have some poppers. Do you want some poppers?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm the age group that's supposed to be in." I'm like, "You're 27. Why the fuck do you have poppers?" I'm like, I expect that from like guys who are like 10 years older than me. It's so weird because it was so like out of nowhere, because that shit had like it's not like a thing anymore. It was so weird, but. Don't do that shit. It's like really bad for you. Like inhalants are really bad for you. Don't do it. But it didn't cause AIDS. AIDS' proximate cause was the HIV virus. We know that. So in the same vein, in the same sort of, we'll call it in the same level of being knowledgeable about infectious disease and health. This is from the Tennessee State House, and I don't know if you know this. There's vaccines in the lettuce.
Can you give me an example of a food that's a vaccine?
You recognize? Yes, sir. University of California, Riverside has already perfected the ability to put human vaccines into our lettuce right now. Also, tomatoes has the ability to do that also for UC Berkeley. And then Big Tobacco, RJ Reynolds and stuff has perfected the ability to put a human vaccine into tobacco products.
And is that?
I mean, that's actually I picked up smoking again. I don't smoke like every day or whatever, but I buy a couple packs of smokes a month, and I picked that up during COVID. And I don't know if you know this, but that was how I got the vaccine before everyone else.
Even legal to do in the state of Tennessee to sell those with a vaccine in them?
You recognize? Well, I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is there is no law deeming those that when you go into a grocery store, you should know as a consumer, this head of lettuce is a head of lettuce. The head of lettuce right next to it could contain a vaccine in it. All we're saying is if it does have the vaccine in it, make sure it's listed as a pharmaceutical so people can get the proper dosage.
You recognize? Thank you. Well, my question is right now, can you walk into a grocery store and there be a head of lettuce for sale that has a vaccine in it? I don't think that's allowed under state law presently. And if it is, and you have to list it as a pharmaceutical.
Oh, you should have said GMO just to fuck around.
Are we going to then have Walgreens pharmacists with a refrigerated section? I mean, how's this going to play out?
There is a refrigerated section at Walgreens. Try going outside sometimes and not sending your assistants to do things for you.
You recognize? Thank you. This is more of a consumer protection bill right here, is to make sure that if you're going in to buy tomatoes and there's a polio vaccine in there, that you are aware of what you're buying has a polio vaccine. The problem you have is if it's not treated as a pharmaceutical, being the size and difference between you and me, how many tomatoes do I have to eat to get the proper dosage versus how many tomatoes that you have to eat? And if you eat too many, do you get a overdose?
Man, we gotta listen. We gotta put the brakes on all this. I don't know how to do it, but that is fucking insane. That's like a step beyond like just being irrationally afraid of GMOs, right? Oh, I can't. Friend, there's no vaccines in the tomatoes. That's a pretty dumb way to deliver. Like, because then what happens if you make like a ragu? What happens to do you cook the vaccine out by turning it into a nice marinara? Or is it now MMR marinara? Or like, what's going on here? So I know I didn't notice it. I don't think anybody noticed it. Easter happened apparently. And here's an uplifting Easter message from a pastor.
So check this out. 2 things I found at church this morning. Number 1, a Reese egg. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to eat this thing in just a few minutes. I know I shouldn't.
In just 2 minutes? Anyway. Dude, you can eat that shit in 1 second. It's a single bite.
Was this. It's so funny. So cute. I mean, just a little pop-up toy. But it takes a moment to remind me that my Savior was in the grave, but he's no longer in the grave. He is risen. Indeed. Have a great day. Happy Easter.
That's like the Jesus story. That's how Jesus came back from the fucking dead. A little pop-up toy. Oh, here's another inspiring Easter message. This one's from the President of the United States. Happy Easter, everybody. There's President Trump standing next to a bunny, which we've never seen before, I guess.
How did I do with the voters that do eggs? Awesome. Did you say 100% or 99%? 100%. Did anybody in the egg industry vote for Kamala? A low IQ person. She's a low IQ person. Who's a lower IQ person, Biden or Kamala? That's close. That's probably the toughest question. That's a tough question.
Here's more. Oh, do y'all remember when there was a bunny standing next to Donald Trump and he just stared directly at the sun? That's the vibes I'm getting off of this next clip. He didn't look directly at the sun in this clip, but I'm getting I'm getting that vibe off of him. Here he is. Another uplifting Easter message from the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
And I don't think it gets much more hostile than Iran. They're capable fighters. They're very tough people. And there are others like that. You don't mind when the enemy is weak, but that enemy is strong. Not so strong like they were about a month ago. I can tell you, in fact, right now, they're not too strong at all, in my opinion, but we're soon going to find out, aren't we?
It'd be so funny if that fucking buddy just fucking knocked him out. Just punch him in the face, Bunny. I hope that Bunny's being paid well, because that's not good for that Bunny's PR, right? Like, the other Bunny's going to make fun of him. Yeah, I don't know if this right here is an Easter message, but this is also uplifting. The dress leads me to believe that it might be an Easter thing because it's like kind of pastel colors. It certainly isn't like trans rights or whatever, although it looks like it's a little bit close, but it's not that. This is I think this is an uplifting Easter message.
Oh, it's 'cause Jesus is King. Let every heart sing. Let it echo in the streets. Let the declaration ring over every system, over every earthly thing. Jesus is King.
But like, come on, man. There's plenty of fucking most religious people, most Christians are cool. Most Christians would never do that, but sometimes there's people that are just, I'd say maybe just a little, maybe not too religious. I'd say a little too crazy. Here we go. Here's another one. This is more religious batshittery category as we start to get into the home stretch here and start to approach red light. It is what it is. POV, you've chosen to walk in purity, so hot tub sessions accompany loud worship music on the speakers. I don't know if you're inspired, but I'm inspired. That's just some dude that wants to show off a house that he has or that he's renting or something. That's all that is. All right, we got a couple. We got a few more here. It's all downhill from here. This is a take. I found this. This is some kind of take. This is like that pro-natalist shit where everybody's like, oh, the white people, they're not having enough babies. Well, in this case, maybe I'll let the clip speak for itself, actually.
Well, new data from the CDC shows the U.S. fertility rate reached another record low last year, only 53.1 births per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44. So that continues a nearly 2-decade-long trend. Let's bring in Dr. Mark Siegel, Fox News senior medical analyst, and of course the author of the most amazing book, The Miracles Among Us. Here's the fertility chart, just so everybody can see this. I don't think this trend is not going to be a big surprise to people, but the numbers might feel a little shocking. How do you see it?
Absolutely. We still have 3.6 million births a year, but the problem is teens and young adults. From ages 15 to 19, the fertility rate is down 7%.
Y'all hear that?
And it's down 7%, and it's down 70% over the last 2 decades, meaning we're telling people that are young not to have babies, to wait.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that most people ages 15 through 19 should not have babies, particularly the 15, 16, and 17 ones. I don't know. Why not fuck around and go all the way down to 12, you fucking crazy motherfuckers?
They're in a more stable life situation till they're more financially secure. Maybe they haven't found the right partner.
Oh, no. Yo, friends. These are the same people, by the way, telling you, like, talking out of both sides of their mouths. We're just going to leave that there. I don't really have anything else. So these two ghouls, this is Michael Knowles and Doug Wilson, who we've been talking about Doug Wilson more. they may, have slightly different versions of Christian nationalism or whatever. And maybe Michael Knowles is a closeted homosexual. I don't know. I just heard rumors. But they can agree on one thing, is that you and me are the problem.
What is Christian nationalism, and why do these guys hate you so much?
I've got several short definitions. One is that I'm a Christian and I love my country. So I don't want to have my Christianity in one compartment and my patriotism in another compartment. I believe that, and that leads to the second short form definition, which is,
I'd like to put this guy in a compartment.
Christian nationalism is the belief that Americans should stop making God angry. So basically, politics is the art of the possible. So in the current moment, I want to stand with Catholics, shoulder to shoulder, against the secular Klingons.
It does seem to me we do have an established national religion. It is liberal progressivism. We have a liturgical calendar with all the secular saints, whether we're talking about Martin Luther King or Harvey Milk. We've got liturgical seasons even. I think Pride used to be a week and then a month. Now it's roughly half a year and growing.
Fuck yeah, now it's half the year and growing.
We have, we have prayers and hymns, the Black national anthem that they're trying to add to the NFL. That's part of the liturgy of liberalism. So we have all of these things. And if you contradict it, you will be faced with far greater punishment than any medieval inquisition. So I totally agree with you. There is...
Like, these people, they're so stupid. I think these people overplayed their hand. I think it's going to take a while for the course to correct in any sort of meaningful way, but I think these people are really, really overplayed their hand. Here is, this guy's Joel Webbin, but we call him a great value Matt Walsh. Women in civic leadership is actually, it's God's will, but it's because God is punishing us. So if your mayor is a woman, this is God's punishment.
Women in positions, formal positions of civil governing authority, are God's judgment on a nation, his punishment on a nation. Because if you think, what could hurt a nation? God's rod of discipline, punishment for a nation steeped in idolatry, a nation that's rebelling against him. God looks at a nation like that and says, they're disobedient, they must be disciplined. And
by women that dominate. God sent millions of dominatrixes
has to hurt so they might come to their senses and repent. And when God thinks, I need discipline that will hurt this nation currently in rebellion, he thinks, I know what will hurt women in leadership. Nothing hurts more than...
Maybe for you, I don't give a fuck.
Informal leadership, because they will do exactly the opposite of everything that leads to prosperity and life and blessing. And the nation will be crushed.
So if you believe this about women, motherfucker, why are you straight? Right? Why? If this guy believes, every time we watch this guy, he's just saying that women are evil and do the evil, the baddity bad. It's motherfucker, then why are you straight? Why would you want to date or fucking marry such a creature?
Under their incompetent, deceptive, and foolish leadership. And eventually they will cry out and say, God, save us from this gynocracy. Save us from this woman-ruled world. We earned it by our rebellion and our idolatry. We earned your rod. And the rod has written on it, women in leadership.
I'm going to leave this part. Women in leader, is that what he gets pegged with?
We earned it. We deserved it. We repent.
So that's a dildo.
Dust and ashes. We cannot take another day of women leading our government. Please have mercy.
Counterpoint, about half the people in the world are women, and some of them would be good leaders and some of them wouldn't. And that's it, actually. Here's the same guy. I guess he's J-pilled. So, I guess he's J-pilled. I imagine you might have some thoughts as to what that is, but he'll explain it. Don't worry.
You just if you're wondering what is American politics, it is Jewish supremacy, gay Jews on the left, war Jews on the right. Gay Jews on the left, war Jews on the right.
I'll take the gay ones. The gay ones are fine.
Those are your choices. The only alternative.
I don't like the war ones, but it has nothing to do with them being Jewish. I just think it's dumb to support wars.
Is an American first Christian nationalism. My counsel is we're not playing the game anymore. We're not, well, let's vote for the war Jew so that we don't get the gay Jew. No. Let's vote for America first, Christian nationalist, race realist, patriarchal, and J-pilled. Let's vote for those guys and those guys only, because if that's what we do, then guess what? They'll run those candidates. The true strong man, right? The true Caesar who will come, when he comes,
Dude, wait, hold on. The true Caesar. Motherfucker, didn't Caesar's government kill your Jesus? I know this guy's going to say it's the Jews, but it was the cops. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold the whole fuck on here. Sir, come on. This guy doesn't know shit about his own religion.
Play to leftist tropes. He won't give the pretense of diversity. Why? Because he'll really be diverse. He'll mean it. No, because he'll mock diversity. He'll mock it. He'll say, no, we're not going to pretend to be diverse because we're not going. What fellowship does light have with darkness? What fellowship does evil have with good? What fellowship does Christ have with Beelzebub? Diversity is an egalitarian scheme.
So I feel like this guy, first of all, so Jesus didn't like the Romans, Roman government. It said render unto Caesar what is Caesar's or whatever, but maybe after the cops killed Jesus, maybe when he rose from the dead, maybe he had a different opinion about that. I would assume. One more, friends. I think we're gonna have to come back on a Wednesday. Maybe bring HK back on, and we're gonna have to maybe check in on some of our intellectual dark web people, because here's Brett and Heather. This is just a 30-second clip, but I think we may have to check in on these people. Sam Harris not doing so well either right now. But here, I'm just going to let this exist on its own.
I think there was a huge opportunity missed here. Assuming the mission is what it appeared to have been, then a lot of effort should have been put into figuring out how this could be used to get us some sort of resolution on what happened in 1969. Because the problem is that the hypothesis that we did not go, actually, there's stuff in it that you wouldn't expect. It's not flat Earth.
No, it's not flat Earth, but it's like the U.S. did not send people to the moon is about as stupid as flat Earth. The only reason the flat earthers are stupid is that they kind of don't believe in the moon in the way that the rest of us conceptualize the moon as a thing. Right? On the flat earth, the moon can't operate the way that the rest of us think it does. So of course they're going to not think we went to the moon, because I'm not even sure that they believe in the fucking moon. But other than that, I mean, we're not like in this, these aren't super far apart from one another, right? I don't think that these are like, that one is dramatically more unhinged and disconnected from reality than the other one. So we won't do it tonight unless I drink half a bottle of vodka, and then we end up till 4 a.m. yelling at Brett and Heather like I was doing during the pandemic. Let's try to avoid that tonight during red light. Speaking of red light, red light's pretty good tonight. We got little Nikki Fuentes is fucking mad at Donald Trump. We got somebody on InfoWars saying that we should actually just Truman Show Donald Trump instead of trying to impeach him, or I don't know, send him up in one of Elon Musk's exploding rockets or something. And then we're going to check in on this guy. I forget his name. We just call him InfoWars dork. I forget his name. He's the one that Alex doesn't like him, but he's the only one that stuck around. And then Alex Jones and Dan Bongino, not to be confused with Dan Bidondi, Dan Bongino, they got beef. And we're gonna cover that, because of course we are. I love it when people that I don't like start fucking fighting with each other on the internet. It's like my favorite thing in the world. So if you're listening to the podcast and you want to hear that, I don't know, it already happened. You could buy it, I guess, $5 a month. You can subscribe at eplex.store, at patreon.com/echoplex. It'll get sent directly to your inbox. If you're clever, you could find a way to get it for free. I'm not trying to stop you from doing that by deleting VODs and shit. But you know, you could support this channel. I don't know, you could download it in high quality, higher quality than is available on the VOD. I don't fucking know. I don't know how to sell this. Give me $5 a month, God damn it. Anyway, this is Boomers by Periscope. I'm going to change the color of the lights here and pour myself a cocktail, and we will return in just a few moments.